What is going on, guys? So as you can see from the thumbnail and the title, I'm going to be doing a full update and walk around of my Srt4 since I last done an update. So the last time I did an update was actually when I had just got the car, and so today I'm going to be going over what I've done since then, since ownership, and I've probably owned this car for close to a year now. I haven't done crazy much mods to it, but I did add some aesthetic things here and there, and most of it has just been like basic maintenance, so that's about it. So I'm gonna get right into it. As for the interior, the only thing I have done, I don't know if you guys seen in my last video, I did the Srt4 removal and install of your Srt4 or Dodge Neon steering wheel. That's the only thing I've done. This is not the factory Srt4 steering wheel that has a leather. This is just the basic Neon from the second gens. I like it better in my opinion, only because it seems to flow better. There's no lines that cut off here, and then on the other side, like the whole steering wheel, it just goes all around smoother, and it just makes it look for a better appearance. As for this wideband gauge, that was in the car when I got it. And also, I take that back. The only thing I did in the interior was paint this radial bezel here. That's plasti dip, and I added some flake to it. I don't know if you could see the flake because it's not really hitting the sun here. Get my camera to focus. Yeah. It's not really focusing, but you get the gist. I don't really like the gray bezel they had from factory. I also took out the back seats and all the stuff in the trunk area, which is like the spare, some of the trim pieces, and I had a jack in here just to save, not save weight, but just to see the difference from taking out all that weight and extra stuff I had in the trunk, just to see how much more of a pull that it would be. And I got some little cleaning supplies there on the go. It's the only thing I leave in the car. As for exterior modifications, the only thing I have done is added these wheels. I put a front brake kit on, which consisted of the calipers, the rotors, and the pads. So as you can see there, they're drilled and slotted in the front. New calipers. And in the back, of course, you got your basic factory rotors and the factory calipers. So these are XXR, cough cough, XXR 530s. The specs are 18 by 8 3/4 in the front and 18 by 9 3/4 in the rear. So 9.75 rear, 8.75 in the front. And it rides nice, but with this setup and on the Raceland coilovers, I barely clear the actual strut itself, so you guys can't really tell. But yeah, I've also added the Racelands, like I've said, and honestly, I won't be buying another set of Racelands. And everyone says you always get what you pay for, but that is the really bottom line moral of the story there. That is the truth. You get what you pay for. They're borderline, just something to go low. It's something to go cheap. They're really not that comfortably, especially for the Neon platform. As for being a Neon, you know, nothing, like none of the suspension components are really made to be really suitable and just comfortable, you know, all around. It's you know, it was meant to be a sedan that was, you know, affordable in a cheap, like, family car or whatever. But definitely lowering a car like this, you know, on this platform really makes it not the greatest ride comfortability. So you can't really ask for much there. And it's weird because I had bought these coilovers about 1,000 miles in, and I think it's the driver front strut is starting to make a noise, as if they were blown. like that noise that a strut would make as if they were blown because there's no hydraulic fluid left. And so yeah, that's about it for the aesthetic parts that I've done to it. And so let's pop the hood here and see what I've done basic maintenance wise to the car since then. So, I have not done anything crazy performance-wise stuff to it to make it faster. Little things here and there, but nothing crazy. The only thing I've changed since I got it was it needed a full tune-up as for the spark. And so I went around and I replaced the spark plug wires, the coil wires, whatever you want to call them. I did a new coil pack there, and I did the spark plugs as well. So this is the AGP catch can that was on the car when I got it. Mopar intake was on the car when I got it. HKS super sequential was on there when I got it. You got this manual boost controller here, which I haven't touched, which was there. But yeah, like I said, basic maintenance wise I've done to it. And I also had the intake manifold gasket go out on me, which in my previous video I did a little video of that, replacing that, which was pretty interesting. And I had also replaced the cam magnet sensor along with the camshaft position sensor along with the cam magnet. So it's pretty much full bolt-on, besides the bigger front mount. That's what I need to get next. This is a stock front mount. But yeah, once I go put a bigger front mount, I'll probably go with MPX big front mount on there, since the kit comes, you know, just straight bolt up. And then once that's set, we'll be full bolt-on and still stock turbo. I'm kind of being cheap. Instead of going big turbo, I'm kind of trying to push everything out from the stock turbo that I can. So right now I guess it's tuned on 22 PSI stock turbo. Like I said, everything there, almost all full bolt-on. It's got a straight piped exhaust. It's not straight piped fully, I guess. There's no cat. There's one resonator and that's it. It's only a single exit exhaust. I guess the previous owner did away with the factory exhaust, and so there's no dual exit, so it kind of looks weird to some people when they look at it. Of course, it also doesn't line up because I gotta fix it. It's got a crazy exhaust leak in the middle from the mid pipe. Also, the previous owner had a stock neon trunk, and it was completely shaved. There was no holes, you know. It wasn't an Srt4 trunk, you could tell, because you still had to drill the holes for if you wanted to put a wing on there. And it was clean for the meanwhile, it was clean for a long time, but I went and put an SXT wing on it. I don't know why, but the SXT wing versus the Srt4 wing seems to flow a lot better with the body lines on the neon body, in my opinion, just cause it's not like something crazy, you know, that flares over. It's just something small, simple, and clean. This is the interior. Of course, it's got the notorious Fat Boy SRS seats, which I loathe, and I really don't like. So of course, I guess my last SRT had them as well, and it appears that every Srt4 I buy, I end up with these seats. Now I only got this car originally because it was a really good deal. I really wasn't looking for a silver specifically. I was just looking for a car that was really well put together. You know, nothing crazy fast because my budget wasn't around like 8 grand or so. But just something that's really clean and, you know, mildly, you know, modified to where it was decently quick. And this really fit in the criteria that I was looking for. So this really turned out to be a good deal for me. So I went and I swooped this up and of course, it had these seats, but you know, it's not saying that I can't go in the future and buy, you know, the Viper seats. So it's got 134 on the clock, AEM wideband, stock boost controller, stock boost gauge. I mean, yeah, for the most part, the interior's clean, the carpet's clean, except for the seats here. They got a little bit of residue from previous owners, and of course the infamous cigarette holes, cigarette buttholes. But I could clean the interior a little bit. Let's see here. I mean, it's not bad. Gotta vacuum out this here. I used to have my jack in here, so that's why you can see the little rust on top of the carpet there. It's forming because the wheels from the jack is just rusted. And it's still got the factory 10-inch kicker here. Of course, the stock amp. It's nothing crazy, but it's nice to have rather than a little side speakers. And so things next up for this, I was going to keep the temperatures down by putting in a new 180 thermostat in there. And once I get that bigger front mount, hopefully that'll keep the temperatures down more as well. Because this motor does get pretty hot. And I was also thinking of getting, on the Modern Performance website, they have a coil pack heat shield that goes in between these factory bolts for the coil pack, and it's just a little bracket there that just goes over that area near the turbo, so it dissipates the heat better, or in the area around and away from the coil pack. And so what is a walk around without a startup? And of course, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but that's the exhaust leak. It goes right under the car there in the middle. It's not too loud. See what it sounds like from the outside. Oh, it smells raw fuel. Oh boy. Alright, so future plans for this, like crazy plans, I was going to do a big single on it, you know, bigger injectors, you know, tune it, and just do like a, you know, just a small setup, you know, nothing crazy where I, you know, get into the head work and all that, because you know, you could slap a, you know, small single on there and make decent amount of power with having to delve into the head and all that. But you know, that was on the plate, and so I kind of changed directions because I'm now in the process of saving up for another vehicle. Now, I was originally, you know, going to trade this car for another car, which was a 240. I've always had 240s in the past. I've had a 240 on my channel in the past, but it was only like a couple videos, which didn't last long because the car was a heap. You know, I don't need to explain more, being a car that's in upstate New York. There's really not that many clean 240s out there. You know, half of them are just rusted through, and you know, that's what that one came out to be, and it was just it was a nightmare. So it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth putting money into. The whole chassis itself was, you know, mechanically, suspension wise, it was messed up, and I was really dying for another hatch. I was really dying for another 240, and I wanted to trade this for one, and I've thought on it so long because I was like, you know what, this car has been so good to me. I've owned it for about a year now, and knock on wood, I've never had a check engine light pull up other than the camshaft position. It wasn't a camshaft position sensor, but it was the coil pack, and it only did it once. It only sputtered once, and that was enough to kick it, I guess. But yeah, I mean, this car's been so reliable. It's got AC, it's got heat, it's got your radio, and so just those alone were like key factors of, you know, trading for a car, you know, another 240, you know, which most likely will not have those, you know, especially if it's swapped. Now, I don't mind if it's a KA, because I could always swap an SR or whatever into it if I wanted. I kind of want it to be a really big thing for the channel. I want to get another 240, so that will start a bunch of series of videos, and so that I could just bring more content. Because as for this car, I mean, yeah, it's fun. The wow factor is that it's turboed. That's it. I mean, like I said with my old BMW, there was nothing really that was a wild factor there, so I couldn't really make many videos on that. Yeah, it had the Need for Speed, you know, theme, but like I said, it was funny because I got rid of that to get this, and so that there was a little bit wild factor here that I could bring, you know, as for content to the channel. But to me, it just seems like there's not enough. Like, I could do DIY videos here and there, but it's just not enough content for me to film for it to be really consistent. And so with the 240, it's a bigger platform. I could do a lot more on that versus this. Being that this car has been so good to me, I did not want to trade it for a 240 because, you know, there's a lot on this car that getting a 240 for around the same price I would not get. I probably would get one with a missing radio. You know, I'd have to, you know, cut the harness or wire or something, and that would be a pain, and most likely I'll be getting a chassis that doesn't have AC or power steering. I don't know, it's not the smartest idea. So, and I just remember all the times and the good times that I've had with this, that I just can't part with it. So, I mean, it's nice to know that, I mean, it sucks in a way because I wanted a 240 so fast, and I wanted it then and now, but it's so much better, you know, just saving up for one and being able to keep this car, because, you know, I really like this car, and I just can't give it up because it puts a smile on my face every day, and so for that, I can't let it go. So, with that said, that's what you guys will be looking forward to in the future as for content-wise. I can't say when I'll get it, but I want to say it'll be around next year, probably the summertime. Now it's around, what, just getting into September now. So, I mean, you probably got like 6 more months, and that'll give me a decent amount of time to save up the money that I got aside, put that all together to pick out a car, pick out a 240 that'll be mediocre, nothing crazy, but enough to where it's like I can work on it. And, you know, I want a car that's a good base, you know, to start off with. Nothing too haggard or beat, but something that's decent. I'm sure you guys would understand that. So, as for that, I'm gonna be signing off this video. If you guys want to see more walk-arounds of this, or if you guys got any questions or about anything, let me know. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.